Hey, my friend, do you sometimes feel stuck trying to grow your small business? Do you sometimes get frustrated that things aren't going exactly like you wish they were? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 3 different levels that every entrepreneur goes through on their way towards success. You see, the people that I work with are good people, probably you. You probably love your family and you're doing a lot of things right, but it feels like you're banging your head against the wall. Well, what if I told you that the reason that that's happening is because you're solving the wrong problem on accident? Well, let's spend a few minutes and talk through this because it might change your life for the rest of your life. Did you know that over 80% of lottery winners go bankrupt within 5 years after winning the lottery? I think this is really interesting because I've worked with over 1,000 small business owners over the last 15 years, and I kind of see the same type of thing. In fact, the Small Business Administration has a statistic that approximately 26 million out of the 32 million small businesses in the United States are only a couple weeks away from overdrafting their business bank account. And so the reality is, even if this isn't your story, for most people, they're struggling. And they get to a certain level and they get stuck. Or in the lottery winner example, they have this huge payday, this big windfall, but then piece by piece over the next year or two, everything goes back to nothing. And why is this? Well, it's because of the stuff that's going on in our brain. And I've seen this in my own life too, maybe you have. One of my favorite verses from the New Testament is from Paul. And Paul says, why do I do the things I don't want to do? And the things I don't want to do, I continue to do. And it's kind of like word salad a little bit. But basically he's saying, there's this stuff I want to do. There's this person I want to be, but I'm not doing it. And I do the opposite of it. And why do I do that? It's very confusing. And I see this with small business owners. And so I'm going to title this video, There's a New Devil at Every Level, meaning there's resistance, there's levels, and there's 3 core phases that you'll go through on your way towards whatever success means for you. And I don't think everybody's purpose is to make $1 billion. If you listen to internet hype guru culture, they're going to tell you the real success is in more, going faster, faster, faster. And that's a lie. Right? What I do believe, however, is that everything God made, He made to grow and expand. And everything that's in your hand was designed to grow and expand. The way that success works is it works kind of like a garden. And small business owners have a scarcity mindset oftentimes, and we feel like for us to survive, we have to kill the gazelle and eat the meat. And then, oh no, I don't see another gazelle. Where's the next gazelle coming from? But business is actually more like a garden. There's no economic pie, meaning if you take a slice of the pie, someone else doesn't get the pie. The way the economy actually works, the way that your success actually works is more like a garden. Because when you succeed, it creates more opportunity for other people too. Kind of like Adam Smith talks about in the concept of the invisible hand. You succeeding and growing and multiplying your business, creating jobs and thinking bigger, you buying more things, leveling up your lifestyle, making investments, gives more opportunities for everybody else. You know, there's this awesome quote that says, you can count the number of seeds that are in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples that are in a seed. In your business, it's like that seed. And what if I told you your brain is actually like a garden too? So let's break this down for a second, because maybe you're not connecting all the dots yet, but you will. Here's the thing. We all start out, when it comes to business, with an orphan mindset. What does that mean? Well, an orphan, their primary driver, the thing that they're seeking, is survival. They're trying to survive. They're not worried about thriving, they're worried about surviving, making it until tomorrow. And small business owners, a lot of times, get perpetually stuck in an orphan mindset. There was a church that my wife and I went to years ago, and they adopted a Russian orphan. It was an 8-year-old boy. Can you imagine being a Russian orphan for 8 years and how traumatizing that would be? Well, it took a couple years to do all the paperwork, and they finally had everything done, and they brought their son back to the United States, brought them into their multi-million-dollar home. This is an affluent, successful couple. And the mom and dad were thrilled. They were beyond excited because in their mind, they knew the truth, that this was now their heir. This was now their son. It was signed, it was sealed, it was official, it was delivered, it was done. Everything they owned was going to be owned by their son. Now, this 8-year-old orphan had a lot of mindset stuff because his whole life was spent in an orphanage. Well, about a month into them bringing this orphan home, the dad walked down the stairs and he saw his new son eating dog food out of the dog bowl on all fours, on his hands and knees. And I see business owners do similar things to that. And Not that you're literally eating dog food, but you metaphorically are. Do you sabotage your success from time to time? Do you actually feel uncomfortable when things actually work? Do you feel guilty if you make money and it wasn't hard? If you do, these come from an orphan mindset, not understanding whose you are, not understanding what you're worthy of, what you're capable of, and you're focused on survival. And there's devils that have to be fought at that level, but we need to graduate, okay? We need to graduate. If you have an orphan mindset, this is what your life looks like. You hire someone and they do a pretty good job. And you can't even believe that it's working. I remember when I had an orphan mindset with my first business, I actually left a job site and I had 2 employees doing all the work, and I left and I went and had lunch with my mom. And the whole time I'm having lunch with my mom, I was very excited because I was actually making money without being the person doing the actual work for the first time in my life. And it was 50% exciting and 50% I felt guilty and weird and almost like this isn't right, because time is money, and because if you want to get ahead, you have to work hard. And I wasn't working hard, but I was getting ahead, and I had all these inner conflicts happening in my brain, in the garden of my mind. And the only way to graduate from orphan mindset to the next level is to start believing new things and to stop believing certain things. Myron Golden says this amazing quote. He says, maybe you should start doubting your doubts. You ever thought about that? Start doubting your doubts. Everything's gonna fall apart. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. When it rains, it pours. You have these things that you believe that things are gonna go poorly, and then they do. And so part of the level up, when you're facing a new devil at every level, is reprogramming your brain to believe things that are actually true. Because I have a secret for you, there's things that you believe are true right now that are lies. They're not true. Even your doubt that you have in yourself is actually a lie, and I'll tell you why. It's because everything God made, He made to grow and expand. And if you're experiencing perpetual struggle, it's one thing to be trained and to learn a lesson and to level up, but if it's something that is just a Groundhog's Day cycle for you, it's always because you have an orphan mindset, you're believing a lie, something to that effect. The way to break out of it is to change your proximity of the people that you spend time with. Be a better curator of the content that goes in your ears and your eyes. You need to start being more exposed to the truth. A lot of small business owners I work with, they're doom scrolling on TikTok, worried about the economy and about the election and about all these things. And it's not that those things don't matter at all. It's that when you're focused on it, when you're focused on strife and struggle and survival, you're going to keep finding it. I worked for a billionaire when I was in my early 20s. He owned a company called Quicken Loans. And when you walked into their office, one of the big signs said, what you focus on, you find. So let me ask you, what are you focused on? Truly, what are you focused on? Not the conscious goals that you'll tell the people around you, but internally in the garden of your mind, what are you actually focused on? Because when you tell yourself, I want to find a husband who's not abusive, what you're focusing on is abusive, 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 and you're going to struggle in that area. With your business, you might be focused on, I don't want to be in debt, I don't want to be in debt, I don't want to struggle, I don't want to struggle. And all your subconscious mind hears is debt and struggle. Debt and struggle. And the way to beat that devil is to start believing the truth that you're the child of a king, you are a son or a daughter, God loves you, and actually He likes you, He ain't mad at you, and He has success waiting for you. If you believe that to be true, even if what I'm saying right now sounds crazy, your life will actually change. Because what if I told you, you don't have to suffer to be successful? You don't have to toil and whip yourself, right? And punish yourself to get ahead. You don't have to. Orphans think that they do. And because they think that they do, that's what their life looks like until they break that level. The second level that you're going to go through is a son or a daughter level, meaning your core driver isn't survival anymore. Your core driver turns into security. And you've accepted the fact that, you know what, I have what it takes. I belong here. I'm competent as a business owner. I believe that things are going to work out, generally speaking, but you're optimizing for security. And that's not bad. It's just the next level. On the wall in my podcast studio over here, we have 3 big canvases, and they say, do hard things. And I think this is a good rule of thumb. This is a family slogan we have for our 5 kids, Ashlee and I. And do hard things means that you do things that freak you out, trying to level yourself up. But it doesn't mean that you make things harder than they should be. It doesn't mean that you should stay trapped perpetually at the level that you're at. And when people move to the son-daughter phase, what they do is they create the golden handcuffs for themselves. And they'll get their finances to a place where they're okay and there's some level of stability or security, and then they shrink back. And taking any risks and moving forward, making any big moves terrifies them because maybe they'd lose their security. And a lot of people that start companies, maybe you, tell me in the comments if this is you, you really started your company to escape a job that you hated or to get away from a boss that drove you crazy. And I think that's okay, but the problem with that is that when you start your company because you're avoiding pain or you're running away from something, you're gonna get stuck in level 2 kind of forever. And God didn't make you just to be secure and hide in a cave until the storm passes. He made you to conquer things, to go be a gardener over your assignment, which might sound weird. You know, the third phase is when you step into dominion over your assignment, or we could call it the king phase. You're a king or a queen over an assignment. You see, you were made to serve people. And the way to figure out who you're called to serve is to do the goosebump test. You know, when you think about you doing certain things, there's certain things that when you do them, you get into flow state. You get goosebumps, right? The hairs on your arm stand up because you have this anointing, this authority in that domain. And it could be just business itself. It could be teaching people. It could be being a mother or father figure to the staff that you're hiring. Maybe you're supposed to write a book. Maybe you're supposed to speak on a stage one day, and you're never going to get to that kingship phase if you only optimize for security. And so again, let's just recap really quick. You know, people start out oftentimes with an orphan mindset around money, around business, around the success that's even possible for them, and they just try to survive. And if you can break through that devil at that level, you move into the son-daughter phase where you feel okay, you feel like you belong in the family, so to speak, but you're gonna optimize for security and you're gonna have very limited results. You know, really to do everything that you're capable of, you have to take risks and move into the king phase where you understand I have dominion, that I have authority to step into my purpose. Even though it scares me, even though everybody around me thinks that I'm crazy, you start doing things. In a way, this YouTube channel, the businesses that I'm involved with right now, is me progressing towards that. Does it mean that everything's perfect and it's all gonna work out effortlessly? No, it doesn't mean that. But it means that I have delusional levels of optimism and faith that God is with me, that He has good things for me, that I was made on purpose for a purpose, and there's a mission and a mandate and a destiny waiting for me to serve people. And as I learn how to speak and make YouTube videos and write books and do different things, I'm gonna do them bumpy. I'm gonna do them imperfectly, right? As I make investments or spend money or invest capital on harebrained ideas that other people would throw up if they even considered doing what I'm currently doing, I'm doing that in faith. And whether it works out exactly like I thought or not, I am intentionally stepping into a king phase. Not that I think I'm fancy or I'm some sort of king. It's a mindset shift that I have a territory that I can win in. And that territory, my job is to serve the people that I'm called to serve. And these are very different ideas. You know, going from an orphan to a son to a king, very different ideas, going from survival to security and then to dominion, right? And I hope this challenges you and gives you some weird ways to think about it, because small business owners most of the time are solving the wrong problem in their business. They think they need to figure out Facebook ads, and that's the thing that's holding them back. They wonder if they should update their employee handbook, or should they use blue or red on their flyer? Should they rebrand their company with a new logo? And all of those things are fine, but they're not the problem for most people. The big domino that you can knock over that takes out 20 more dominoes, the big problem you can solve that eliminates 50 additional problems, is understanding which of these 3 phases you're in and what's been holding you back from facing the devil at the new level. Look, you don't need to be scared because you've already won. You don't need to live in fear. You don't need to just optimize for survival or for security. You can go for it. Nothing terrible is gonna happen to you, especially if you have a servant's heart, you're doing it with humility. Take the risk, jump off the cliff, build the plane on the way down, get around people doing the same thing, because proximity is power. So that's what I have for you today. I hope it's useful for you. Did this make sense? Did this speak to you? In what way does it challenge you? Are you scared of success more than you're scared of failure? What's going on between your ears? Because your mind is a garden. One of the things I'd like to do in this channel is help you learn how to weed the mind of your garden. Pull out the weeds, replace them with new seeds. And you know if your beliefs are good or not based on the fruit that they produce. And fruit is your anxiety, your trepidation, the fear, the paralyzation, the FOPO, the overwhelm, the procrastination, if that's the fruit that's manifesting in your life, it's because there's weeds in your belief system. And we want to root those out. Hopefully this video has helped you do that. If you haven't made a comment, let me know where you're from, where you're watching from. If you haven't liked or shared the video, do it. There's someone that this could be a huge deal for them. I'm never going to be able to reach them, but maybe you could. And until next time, take care and God bless.